Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Konde mubalwe Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kanapani cheda push Baby ndeji da push Bakoswe mwanchi la monde dega push Nde tombolo leti ndombolo la ha Apa lelo nesha inani mfola Chichi chimine chulila Nalishi wombele wanu kusate Chonale kabila ine chuma patumba Beshi kwete lelo nesha nina shonse shamu pele koro Luakwenangu chimukalipe Nala senda gelo wakwe mukunwa na kuansanganisha Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kalume hobeta kupela mane Wimutina mwebe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Nalifimbe kia kushi Arafisa musokolo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kawafe kimule kiaye wikokola nankwe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe chabe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Keshka walo umupela mule kialeya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Bekitomo na kwa wadi Vyobote wadi ya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Poshangu posh Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kwa kusamfya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Alale Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kawafe kimule kiaye wikokola nankwe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe chabe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Keshka walo umupela mule kialeya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Bekitomo na kwa wadi Vyobote wadi ya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Poshangu posh Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Konde mubalwe Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Chishinka chilaba pa chansa mbuku mwevela poli betala ya kuwaya Maboko yakwe ni otota ya tambika Ini shoti ye pita yolo Katapela abantu mutumbanga na kwata Oro chimunyonge no pressure mutamfiefie Luakwenangu chimukalipe Ngatasamba fenishi wafiko wimufisa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Ngatasukusamuka na mula nunko mwevelepo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Ngala nunka akakupipa nondi igalapo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Ngala nunka akakupipa nondi igalapo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Hey Get low shala size heaven Depende fumya mazali muli wale timpende Ukuchile munyongo wangeni afimbe madogongo mubele wasakatila Temwene mo future kale epala mapana pisha Luakwenangu chimukalipe Prophet ngasesebe fyabo vimwebelepo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Ngabapisho luakolo babeka bodumbo lwesu Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kafine ngene pabenso yaku Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kawafe kimule kiaye wikokola nankwe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe chabe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Keshka walo umupela mule kialeya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Bekitomo na kwa wadi Vyobote wadi ya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Poshangu posh Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Konde mubalwe Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kanapani cheda push Baby ndeji da push Bakoswe mwanchi la monde dega push Nde tombolo leti ndombolo la ha Apa lelo nesha inani mfola Chichi chimine chulila Nalishi wombele wanu kusate Chonale kabila ine chuma patumba Beshi kwete lelo nesha nina shonse shamu pele koro Luakwenangu chimukalipe Nala senda gelo wakwe mukunwa na kuansanganisha Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kalume hobeta kupela mane Wimutina mwebe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Nalifimbe kia kushi Arafisa musokolo Luakwenangu chimukalipe Kawafe kimule kiaye wikokola nankwe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe chabe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Keshka walo umupela mule kialeya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Bekitomo na kwa wadi Vyobote wadi ya Luakwenangu chimukalipe Poshangu posh Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Konde mubalwe Wiba Chansa Luakwenangu chimukalipe Uchenjede kakale kanya mulopa Unomaka wena ke mwaka wakufulopa Ngemi sumi no kusasa Fensente kolopa Ngabadi kuntunga Panonga peswiko mulopa Nalishi bata ushito kunga Nangu shoka shanta chinyonga Shakukuka meneka kampenga Nangu vyoleya wampinka pasanga Mutalike yo ekwikala pompashi Katwa ishibanga kakupango mukashi Kusheka katwa lotuvalenga Jale panga sesi muleki apala lewa chabe chabe Kimule kaye wikokola nangu Luakwenangu chimukalipe Tapela nangu wa mulumba wa chabe chabe Luakwenangu chimukalipe Keshka walo Ela mulekale, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Bekitobona kwa bali, vyobote balia, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Posha kuposha, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kodemu balwe, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Naki nkuiba, kweba musam, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Fiber masters, wemutagatifu, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Get anyone, sit all the body, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Managers back and wana osi, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. DJ Twizalicious, Tagomoda, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Massive Pango, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kodemu balwe, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Chishinka chilava pachanza mbuku mwevela poli vedala ya kuwaya. Maboko yakwe ni otota yatambika. Inishoti yepita yodolo katapela bantu mutumbanga na kwata. Olo chimunyonge no presha mutamfiefie. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Ngata samba fenishi wafiko wimufisa. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Ngata sukuza mukana mula nunkoyo mwevelepo. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Ngala nunka akakupipa nondi igalapo. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Ngala nunka akakupipa nondi igalapo. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Hey. Get low, shala size yevende. Pande fumya mazali muli wale timpende. Ukuchile munyongo wangene. Afimbe matogongo mubele wasakatila. Demwene mo future kale epala mapana pisha. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Profeti ngasesebe fiapo fimwevelepo. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Ngabapisho lwakolo babeka bolwimbo lwesu. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kafine ngene babenso yako. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kawafeki mulekaye wikokola nankwe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kashka walo umukela mulekale. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Bekitomona kwa bali, vyobote balia. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Posha kuposha, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kodemu balwe, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kana paniseta push, baby data push. Bakose mwachi la monde deka push. Ndombolo leti, ndombolo la ha. Apa lelo nesha inani mvola chichichimi. Kalume obeta kupena mane kwemutina mwelo. Lwakwena ngufimbe ya bushi arafisa musokolo. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kawafeki mulekaye wikokola nankwe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kashka walo mubela mulekale. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Bekitomona kwa bali, vyobote balia. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Posha kuposha, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kodemu balwe, wiba, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Uchenjeda kakale kanyamulopa. Unomaka wena ke mwaka wakufulopa. Kemisumi no kusasa klasendie kolopa. Ngabadu kuntunga panonga beswido mulopa. Nalishibanda ushito upunga. Nangushoka shanta chinyonga. Shakukuka meneka kampenga. Nangufiole ya bambinka basanga. Mutalikeyo ekwikala pompashi. Katwa ishibanga kakupango mukashi. Kushetaga twalo tuvalenga tale panga sesi mulekia pala lewa chabe. Eki mulekia wikokola nankwe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Tapela na kuwa mulumba wa chabe. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kashka walo umubela mulekia leya. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Bekitomona kwa wali, vyobote balia. Lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Posha kuposha, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Kodemu balwe, chansa, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Naki nkuiba, kweba musam, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Fiber masters, wemutagatifu, lwakwena nguchimukalipe. Get anyone, sit all the body, lwakwena nguchimukalipe.
Good evening, Chuempala. We do see here that it's about 21:42 Chuempala time, and I'm also on Chuempala time. And so we are joined tonight by Jen Roach Pakupaku and Brother Frank Saliki and several other of our collaborators and team that are going to join us during our discussion today. However, I need to apologize once more. Yesterday we had an overrunning in our program, and so we had to cut our long story short. That was not good. The feedback we received was not very good, and so we sincerely apologize about that. Without further ado, I will hand over to General Chipakupaku to take over the discussion. He's already, I think, he's traveling, and Wednesday he'll be in Lusaka. And so it's a long ways from Scotland to Lusaka, and so he's still in transit. General, good evening and welcome, and please take on the discussion.
Good evening to Impala. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, our colleagues, Zambians, and our friends all over the world. And greetings from Bonnie, Scotland. I'm in transit, but greetings from Bonnie, Scotland. And Musha, thank you so much for apologizing for yesterday. I got some comments. We're very sorry for what happened. Musha had to appear on time on TV, and that's why we had a technical problem. So I could not continue. So we're sorry for that. But we want to have a good chat today, and I just want to welcome Frank Saliki. Good evening, Frank. How are you?
Good evening, General. I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm lovely, and I hope you are coping with the baby so far.
Yeah, we still got energy going. I'm still asking myself, I've forgotten what sleep is.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Munsha, how are you doing? How are you in Lusaka today?
General, I'm doing very fine. I'm in Lusaka, yes. And it's been good so far. We are looking forward to the inauguration. And so I'm doing several other things to ensure that the inauguration goes well. The inauguration is now open to the public, and so we look forward to that.
Yeah, it's now open to the public. Was that an order from the president? What happened, Musha?
You know, this is Twitter generation, so the president did issue a tweet, I think, and the tweet contained everything, and it explained what was exactly going to happen, and we believe that it's going to happen.
Wow, that is the tweet from the incoming president.
Yes, it was in a tweet from the incoming president.
Well, okay, I must have missed that tweet. That's a good decision, I think. That's a very good decision, because yesterday we had a lot of complaints from people, and if that is the decision, that's fantastic. And we're expecting Jeremy anytime, and we are also having, besides the inauguration, we are getting a lot of information coming through. The PF met today as the Central Committee. There are new appointments in the Central Committee to try and sort of have a post-mortem to find out what happened and prepare. I think they're preparing for the next general election, which is good, because it's good for democracy. And the other thing I'm hearing, which I don't know, you are the painter. I hear one of your painter friends wanted to go to the stadium to bless the stadium. How true is that?
No, I can't verify that. I don't know whether that is true or not.
Wow. Wow, that's the story I'm hearing, that he wanted to go and bless the stadium, and he also wants to go and he wants to go and anoint the incoming president. And I was thinking, is that the way painters do it? Because I think God has already, the Zambian people have already appointed this man, so we don't need a prophet to do that. But all the same, let's hear what are you hearing, Frank? You are the smart one in terms of IT. What are you hearing from Lusaka?
Well, so from what I heard was this prophet guy who wanted to go to Hero Stadium to do whatever he wanted to do there, and the army chased him away from there. And he had sent there's a message that he sent out that he need to speak to the incoming president urgently, so that he can protect him from whatever evil plans other people have. That kind of nonsense. And well, I think it's just what we've heard over the last few weeks, isn't it? You've had all these prophets and everything else, and people coming out saying who's going to win the election and everything that goes with it. And the people have chosen, the people have elected, and nobody needs to go and do all these anointing malarkey.
Yeah, it's really strange that we're getting all these profits. I really don't know. Munsha, what where is this profit sort of? It's a very strange thing going on in Zambia the last 20 years. We have too many profits. What is happening?
It's got, this is called, genre, it's called Bible enterprise. So you get all
Wow.
these people who just come in and they just think they can make as much money out of religion and out of people. I mean, you get all these people come in and say, give me this amount of money and I'll do a prophecy for you. And that and the other that has gone on. And that's become really massive, where people see these preachers as being almost like a god, and they treat them like that, and they go to them for everything. So yeah, you Bible enterprise, basically. These people have recognized they can make as much money as they can, and some people really are desperate, and some people are gullible, and they follow these men's teaching.
Well, that is very strange, really, really strange. And I just hope our colleague Jeremy is able to hear me. Jeremy, can you join us, please, if you're ready? And Musha, I'm also seeing from the president's tweet that this afternoon he held a number of meetings with the ambassadors and high commissioners from, I think, a number of African countries, accredited to Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, Botswana, South Africa, Congo, DR, Somalia, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Egypt, and Morocco, and discussed a number of wide range of issues of mutual interest. What do you think could be going on, Musha? Do you think he's now laying the foundation for foreign policy?
I think Mr. Musha is not on.
Musha is not on. Okay, yeah, I think your viewers that this president he has a clear plan that he wants to. I mean, in the last 10 years, I didn't know what Zambia's foreign policy was really. I didn't understand it. I only knew that we're still a member of the United Nations, we're still a member of the African Union, and Zambia had no clear policy, so they could stand up and say anything to the diplomats. And it looks like president is very, very clear. He's trying to rebuild the relationships with the African countries. He's trying to rebuild the relationship with the powerful countries like the Western countries, America, Britain, and he started with the Chinese, the Americans, and the British, and so forth. And now he's bringing in the African countries so that he can find a better way of working with them because of our strategic position of Zambia. So what do you think, Frank?
I think it's a good policy. He hasn't hung about. He's not been stuck in this honeymoon period of winning an election and I've got to celebrate for a week and then I'm going to take power. He's laying the foundation, and you could see how focused he is. I think for me, what stands out is he shows the manifesto that the UPND had. So he's able to start implementing the plans almost immediately. A few days after and being announced as a winner, he was already having these meetings, these serious meetings. He wasn't out in the street celebrating. He wasn't out in the street dancing Dununari Vest. He was out there laying up the foundation and setting things in motion for what had been planned and discussed through the campaigns and over the last 5 years, which for me bonds really well. It's not just like I'm just stuck in celebrating, but actually, how can I start implementing everything that we've talked about, everything that we've planned right away? And it's very good signs. It's very good signs for the country.
Yeah, I think you're right, Frank. It looks like he's very logical in his way of doing things. And he also had another tweet 9 hours ago. It says, friends, I spent the Sabbath. I think this is the first Sabbath really as president-elect Sabbath morning in prayer and reflection on the work ahead. I pray that God will continue to anchor me, guide me, and keep my thoughts fixed on service to the nation. I can't wait to see you at the inauguration. And then it says, it is open to all the public. I think this is the one which he instructed. This basically is an instruction to say this thing is open to the public. So I'm glad that he took that decision. And the other thing is that this is man showing that he trusts in God. Not because he's pretending, but since I knew him, his Sabbath, he focuses on his Sabbath. He does that, and it looks like it's a very logical way of sending his style of leadership. He's concentrating on his prayers. He's working on the diplomatic front. I'm sure he's working on the economy as well, how to tackle the issue of the debt. The biggest one, I think, is working on the appointments. He has to get the cabinet done. He has to get the permanent secretaries appointed. He has to get the diplomats appointed, and it's a big task. I think this has been a very, very hard week for him. And I also saw yesterday young Anthony really getting to the press to try and keep the people up to date. So it's very interesting. So on the Tuesday's program, have they released any program? I haven't seen any program myself.
I haven't seen any program. I haven't seen any program anywhere yet.
I have not seen any official program, and I will try and ask the team if they've got a program to send it. I don't know. Probably they want to wait until it's officially released. Yeah, so that is the situation. So yesterday we had a heated debate over the public being allowed to go. So I would like to hear from our viewers what they think now that the president-elect has agreed to say this is a public event, basically overruling Malupenga's decision. So I want to hear from our viewers, and let me see whether they've got any comments so far. Somebody, Medren Mumba, says there is a program from Cabinet Office, and I think it's official. Medren, can you share that copy of the program? We have not seen it. And Salome Zulu says there's a program. The program is out. Yeah, so let me try and see whether I can get to the program and see what it says. Thank you so much for those who have responded. So the most important thing is that is all the people who are allowed to attend. I only hope that they will carry their masks, they'll take their sanitizers, and they'll also be very, very. They'll be aware that COVID is still a problem. Munsha, when you were away for a few minutes, I was saying this man is laying out his diplomatic. Is laying out his foreign policy clearly by meeting diplomats. He started with the Western countries, the big powers like China. Now he's come back to the African continent this morning. What do you think is happening, Moshe?
It's a very nice step. I think is setting the ground for ensuring that African diplomats continue playing a huge role, not only in Zambia but beyond that. That's what I like about it. And of course, the president is a good communicator, and so he's using social media to communicate what is really going on. And when you look at the explanations from the reports, it's very fulfilling. It's very clear. I am meeting this and this ambassador, and this is what we are discussing. I'm meeting this and this person, and this is what we are discussing. That's pretty remarkable and wonderful. I do see that we are going to enter into a very good era of diplomacy as a nation. I think diplomacy suffered. Our diplomacy as a country suffered for the past 7 years. This could be the restoration of that. I'm not sure yet how many heads of state are coming on Tuesday, but it's likely to be some neighbors going to come in. And so it's going to be a big event.
Yeah, I think it's high time Zambia really got its position back into the diplomatic circles. We were, first of all, welcome, Jeremy. What was happening? I was now getting worried. Are you in Luansha? Are you in Kitwe? Where are you? Are you in Lusaka, Jeremy?
General, thank you. I'm still in Lusaka, General. There, maybe I will see. Maybe tomorrow I may meet with Mr. Monsha. I think again, since I heard him saying that he's back in Lusaka. So hopefully we communicate.
Fantastic.
At what? At I communicate. Communicate no when. Communicate.
No, that to communicate, meaning me, I'll communicate.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome, Jeremy. And we have already touched about this prophet. What is happening? What is happening with this prophet? We've also discussed about the president allowing everybody to attend the inauguration, and we were just discussing the issue of diplomacy. So I want to hear your views over the prophet, because you're also one of the Pentas. Jeremy, tell us.
No, General, before we go there, General, before we go there, we need to first of all verify that this is that was a correct report, because even if our backward to page spread it, right? You know, our backward to page has various administrators, and so maybe admin was quick to post. I'm not sure, but we need to perhaps verify whether indeed this gentleman did want to go and anoint heroes.
That's really, Musha, that's exactly what I wanted to do, is to find out whether there's any official report from the police or the army that they really stopped him from that. Because I'm hearing this as a rumor, but I want a confirmation. Do we have a report from the police? Because it's either the police or the army who should have stopped him. Jeremy, you are one of the Pentas, one of the two Pentas. What's happening?
General. If we have no method,
okay, we just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to bless the stadium. And I'm going to anoint the new president. That's
General, it's because Pentas now, we do have legitimate Penta churches, like my church. It's a very legitimate Grace Ministries Mission International. We don't do these things that this gentleman claims to do. We are different. I don't know about Jerome. Jerome, Pepa Kuis, and more about Pente, about Profita.
No, from Assembly of God.
Okay.
Yeah, I go with the Pentecostal.
Yeah, so we are mainstream Pentas, really. We are mainstream Orthodox Pentas. We do not belong to this faith of Pente prophets, false prophets, fake prophets. No. And I'm sorry, but we've got to tell our viewers, I don't.
Yeah, I think
whether that person says something that comes true, don't do that, please.
Yeah. For me, really, speaking as me, Norman Chipaku, I find this very strange, that you have people who claim that they are prophets, that they are the only ones who are able to talk to God. We are all able to talk to God, pray, and through prayer. That's what the Bible says. So I find it strange that it's now a commercial, it's an enterprise. People are turning religion into an enterprise. Over to you, Frank.
I said at the beginning, it's Bible enterprise. People are doing that because they're just making money from it. Because this is going for a different conversation altogether. Because people have lost sight, and where there's poverty in the country, when people like that come in and say, "Come pray to me, give me the little I have, God will give you a lot more," and you do that and the other, people follow. It's nothing to do with Bible. People are just hungry.
I don't think to allow if we take that direction of ifya kwalesa fireta fifia kulandaranda. General, please spare the conversation away. Pantu, I'm already noticing problems in what Frank is saying, in what Reverend Frank is saying. So please take us away to something else. Otherwise, let's stay away from
this prophet. Whatever he did, I personally don't believe in it. Let's stick to the diplomacy. Jeremy, the president-elect has been meeting African diplomats, and Munsha and I have said, yes, I think he's laying the foundation. What do you think is happening yourself, Jeremy? Well, again, it looks like we're in trouble.
General, I think. Hello.
Go ahead.
General, are you getting?
Yes, go ahead.
So, General, what I'm saying is, from the way things are moving and from the way the interaction the president is having we are having actually a very good time, and the president, from the interaction is having with different people, you can see it is even reflective to the economy and also to the appreciation of the kwacha against the US dollar. And I can assure you, General, we are going to have a very nice 5 years of good relationship between Zambia and the other international communities and other donors. That's the best we are going to have, General.
Yeah, I was saying before you came in, Jeremy, to say in the last 10 years, I didn't know what Zambia's foreign policy was. We were like chipante everywhere. And but before that, under UNIP, we had a very, very clear foreign policy. We're very active at the United Nations. We're very, very active in the non-aligned movement by then. We're very, very active in the African Union and the liberation movement. We were also respected in the region. The people in the region, South Africa, Zimbabwe, all these countries respected us, especially under Kaunda. And then came Mr. Sata, the whole diplomacy went off. And we had cadres being appointed as diplomats, and we had no clear direction. It looks like he's trying to bring that Kaunda diplomacy back. That's what I think. Mwisho, what do you think?
Yes, indeed, General. I do notice the Kaunda diplomacy coming back. But I think it's got to be more than just calling all these diplomats together. But I do notice that he's prioritizing diplomacy and involving the Africans. I think we are going to go into a very good time of African diplomacy as a country, because I think that has been our birthright, truly, as Zambia. We played a role as a member of the frontline states. We played a role as a member of the Great Lakes region. We played a role in the Lusaka Peace Accords. We played a role in Angola, in Mozambique. We played a role in Rwanda and Burundi. And so we've played a role in Congo. And so we continue playing this diplomatic role. And I hope that that is going to continue under His Excellency, the President, Hakainde Hichilema, and also the minister that he will appoint, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I think that's where all this is going to add up together. But definitely the visibility, what we are seeing is pretty good, and we are very proud of that.
Yeah, I think having looked at the manifesto itself, the incoming president and talks about economic diplomacy. That is diplomacy which is meant to enhance Zambia's economy, hence Zambia's economic growth, promote exports, promote investment back into Zambia. And Frank, what do you think would do? Because I mean, at the moment, all our diplomats are political diplomats. They just play their political role. Very little economic diplomats. What do you think needs to be done, Frank?
I think anyone in a diplomatic position should be thinking of the big picture about the country. You've just mentioned that everyone in the diplomatic is all political. Like, it has to go beyond where you P&D. We have to start thinking of what can we do for our country. An example I can give you is the companies in South Africa that sell food in Zambia, sell chicken in Zambia, and chicken is coming from South Africa. Things like that could be bought. If a company is operating in our country, they can buy food like chicken from our farmers instead of being able to import everything from their own country. So they're making a lot of money in our country, but also they're getting everything from their farmers in our own country. So they are benefiting from our people, but our people are not benefiting. So it's kind of creating that dialogue with with neighboring countries. This is what we're giving you, but we require you to also get this from our people. For me, this brings a very important aspect of all of this. I think there's been a lot of conversations about we need young people in the cabinet. There are certain roles that we don't need young people, we need experience. So for example, when it comes to Ministry of Finance, don't get me youth, get me experience, get me knowledge. When it comes to Minister of Foreign Affairs, don't get me youth, get me experience, get me knowledge, get me diplomacy. So getting the right people in the right place and being able to have this conversation with these countries to not only because we have to reach a position where this country is actually wants to see the benefit of actually our farmers benefiting. That everything that South Africa makes, for example, they need us to operate. They need the Zambian market. So we need them, or their businesses as well, to start dealing with our local farmers.
Thank you so much, Frank. And yesterday we had a very heated debate on the Chinese investors, and I think that debate went on. Jeremy, they were saying, our viewers were saying, we want Chinese to come and invest. We don't want them to bring drivers. We don't want them to bring people who are going to sell chickens at the market. We want investors. We want to add value to our copper, add value to our mukula, instead of just sending everything to China. So do you think that is the sort of diplomacy which he must have discussed with the Chinese yesterday, Jeremy? What
General, General,
Jeremy.
before Frank, yes. Before Frank comes in, I agree with his earlier statement to say, as the president is looking into the issues of forming cabinet, he should look into the matter of experience and also in terms of maturity and diplomacy in terms of these people he may be appointing. Yes, young people need to be considered, but I think young people need to look into being appointed in the maybe positions of permanent secretary and all that, so that they can learn the job from the people with vast experience in this. At this time, you see, for the past 7 years, Zambia suffered a lot in terms of international relation and in terms of relating with other cooperating partners in different ministries. So if we have people with that diplomacy, teach the young people who have a lot of energy to run around as permanent secretaries and that, I think it's going to help the country very, very, very much. But if we go like we want to in place and say we want, because this one need to be there, this one need to be there in cabinet, I think we are likely to have a bigger problem as a country. Coming back to the issue of the Chinese, I think I do agree with most of the people and what they feel. General, we need to look into the matter on how these people come as investors and how they are being given the permit in terms of work permit, because it is very unfortunate that we can have a person comes to work in Zambia as a pharmacist. Well, Zambia has pharmacists who are not yet employed. So that's something that is very much unacceptable. And there are a lot of other works that Zambians can do that we don't need the foreigners. And from the manifesto of our party and what the president keeps saying, he says we are going to have investors who are going to come into this country. But these investors, they need to bring the investment in terms of capital, not manpower. We already have manpower, unless in a situation where we don't have such manpower. But so far, we have a lot of manpower as a country, and this is the stance of the president, and he keeps echoing the same sentiment. So it's just a matter of us, the young people, to wait for the president to put his word into action according to what he has been promising. But he has been so strictly on that, and this president we have is a very truthful man with integrity and a man who fulfills what he says. So he's going to fulfill about investors bringing capital into this country and partnering with the Zambian, not investors coming with all the entire management to work in Zambia.
Thank you so much. And yesterday there was also the issue of the labor laws, especially with the Chinese companies really not treating their workers well, not paying them the minimum wage. And there was an issue of the workers being locked up in their factories and so forth. I just hope that this new government is really going to take action against that and make sure that our laws are followed, especially in the Copper Belt. There was a message from the Copper Belt, one of the mines which is paying their workers very little money, and they are not actually treating them well. So I think these are the issues which are being discussed in these diplomatic discussions. But for the for the African diplomats, I think HH is trying to bring that respect back to Zambia, because where it was, Zambia was a respected country before well, after Kaunda and probably even Chiluba, a respected country by all the African countries. But also to look at how we can work with the countries in the region, like in SADC, to develop our economy. We have to export. We have to export to these countries like Malawi, Angola, Congo, and so forth. So what else do you think is happening over the diplomatic front, Musha?
General, before Mr. Musha comes in, I just wanted to pick up something on work permits in the country. I think one thing that has to be looked at is the way that the work permits are given, because essentially anybody can come to Zambia on their passport. They will get a visa at the airport. They'll get the visa at the border. For example, if they get a 30-day visa, then they can go back and renew it before it expires. So when tourists come to the country, we are not asking them what are they doing there. So they come in the country, they do all the work they're doing because they're not even getting the right visas. So for me, the starting point is changing the way we permit people in the country, and who tracks those people if they're going to overstay. Does anybody know if somebody has overstayed in a country? So if I come in and say I want to start a business, we have to ask ourselves, why is it so easy for a Chinese person to start selling chicken in the country? Because nobody really asks why that person is in the country. Because everyone just sees them as I'm an investor. Well, you're an investor. What are you investing in? So for me, it's how we change the visas, who tracks the visas when they expire, because in every country you go to, you have to have that visa. And you can't just turn up a few days before it expires and say, I want to stay another 3 months, can I renew it? There has to be a proper way, a proper method. So when we talk about people coming in and doing the things that Zambian people can do, we have to then look at, maybe it's not the fact people are coming in. Maybe it's just the way we give visas in our country is a lot easy, and that is the reason why people are able to manipulate the system. So before we even think of stopping so many people coming in, the whole visa system need a total overhaul for me.
Thank you so much, Frank. And Musha, what do you really think is happening in the mind of HH and over foreign policy? Because it looks like it's very illogical, really. And besides the economic diplomas, what else do you think is happening? You are muted, Musha. Can you unmute yourself, please?
So I've listened to Frank's contribution regarding the tracking of work permits. Nevertheless, Zambia being a country with about 9 or 8 neighbors, it's pretty difficult to track, particularly the status of our neighbors, right? Like Malawans or Congolese. And so it's always hilarious that the immigration of Zambia arrests foreign people, and among them are 9 Malawans. Like, why would you be arresting 9 Malawans for overstaying in Zambia? Anyway, but why would you arrest Malawans for overstaying in Zambia? I still don't understand, but maybe I'll never understand why. In any case, the biggest issue I think has been in the area of investment. Who do we call investors? And so I think the president-elect is prioritizing that area by speaking with the Chinese government, by speaking with the African diplomats, by showing that he's going to be very mindful of Zambia's role in diplomacy. I think he is on the right track. As far as diplomacy is concerned, and to restore Zambia back to those heydays of our highest levels of diplomacy. Because we are a diplomatic nation. We are landlocked. We can't survive without others, and others can't survive without us. We are generally very peaceful people who change presidents at will. Of course, Dr. Chagwa Lungu misunderstood that. and so bagwa. But we continue to be a very peaceful nation, a very diplomatic country, and I think President Hakainde Hichilema is likely to restore us back to those days of being a great diplomatic nation.
Yeah, I'm getting some comments that from Dabin Suluta, that our mic there's a feedback. So I would suggest that if you're not speaking, just mute yourself. Let's try and bring in Munsha. Can we bring in some of our usual people, if there are any, or in the studio, to hear?
Of course, yes, we do.
Yeah,
yes, we do. I'm going to bring about 10 at a time. We can only 10.
Thank you so much. We want to hear, first of all, the issue of the inauguration and allowing of the public to go. We're not going to waste our time on this prophet or this fake prophet, and then we'll go on the diplomacy and economic diplomacy. And then probably the third thing which we'll bring in is the issue of the PF and the Central Committee, the new appointments they have. Who do we have here, Musha?
General, I wanted to talk about the new Central Committee.
Yeah, okay.
What is very interesting for me about the appointments of particularly Antonio Mwanza has been that the Patriotic Front has had no youth chairman. So they went into this election without a youth chairman. And one of the things that we were speaking to the Patriotic Front youths was, President Lungu does not like you as youths, because how can you go in a very important election without youths?
Yeah,
that was pretty surprising. How did he get himself to go into an election without youths, without a youth chairman? And so they have now appointed Antonio Mwanza as MCC and youth chairman, but the Patriotic Front is pretty much in trouble. I think the MCC should quickly move to replace Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu. In my opinion, I would rather that. Do you know whether Vice President Inonge Wina is still Vice President of PF? Because all that is quite murky at the moment.
It looks like she's on her way out, Musha. But for our viewers, the appointments are as follows. Antonio has been appointed member of Central Committee and is becoming National Youth Chairman. And given Lubinda Honorable, they call him Honorable Lubinda, is not honorable to me. He has been appointed National Chairperson for Information and Publicity. And Vincent Mware Honorable has been appointed National Chairperson for Elections. The GBM has been appointed as the Chairperson in charge of National Mobilization. And then Mrs. Elizabeth Piri has been appointed National Chairperson for Women and Gender. So they're not clear about the Vice President. There's no clear. And they are not even clear about the future of the great leader, the Commander-in-Chief, and the great leader himself, whether it's going to continue. So I think both the current president and the vice president are going, Musha. The PF has to get a new president. What do you think, Jeremy? Musha?
No. Before Jeremy comes on. Now, General, when you look at the new MCCs, it's exactly the same people that got PF into trouble. It is the arrogance of people like Antonio Mwanza, the arrogance, the insults. And they're using the same guys. And given Luvinda as well, the same arrogance. So I think this Patriotic Front party is a party of the arrogant. It's a party that never learns lessons, because instead of toning down, right, they're doubling down on arrogance. Given Lubinda, one of the most arrogant politicians you can ever, in the history of our country. We've never had an arrogant politician like Given Lubinda. And is awarded and is elevated to become co-chairperson for information and publicity. The very thing that has been annoying our people. And what do they do with GBM? They still double down on him and give him a higher position for mobilization. And what do they do with Vincent Mwale? Of course, Vincent Mwale is a darling of everyone, but that's besides the point. So there is no shakeup that the Patriotic Front has done here. I think they are in very deep trouble, and it's going to be total confusion. As a matter of fact, this is my prediction. The Patriotic Front will not hold together at all. There will be serious fractures coming in the next few weeks. of people trying to join the UPND from the Patriotic Front. They can't hold, they can't resist, they can't stay together like the UPND did. They can't. You know,
Thank you,
that's why I need to say something controversial here. If during the debate of Bill 10, we had the Patriotic Front in opposition, they would have given into corruption, and they would have passed Bill 10. And so Zambia, we should continue to be indebted to the UPND's democratic credentials, because during the time that during a time of great test, the UPND stood together and resisted the Patriotic Front. I don't see the Patriotic Front staying together to resist anything. You are going to see already, General, 2 days before the president is even sworn in, the so-called independent PF MPs were busy at the residence, at the community house, trying to curry favor with the new president, because there is no agenda that would take them to that house 2 days before the president is even sworn in. So there is nothing like they're trying to discuss or push their constituency's agenda. What agenda is there in Nkana that would require that independent MP to be at HH's house before HH is even sworn into office? What is there for that? Is it Luangeni guy, Moyo? You know, what agenda is there for JJ Banda, and a son, operative of President Edgar Lungu, who went ahead and established the Edgar Chagwa Lungu Development Foundation for Eastern Province, be at HH's house? There is trouble in the house. The Patriotic Front is likely going to perform worse than UNIP, because there is no leadership, there is no direction, there is no guts, there is no way to reform anything. I honestly fear for the future of the Patriotic Front, for the future of the Patriotic Front.
You've seen how they've just handled everything.
A minute, Frank, please. I think we need to connect to one other thing which is happening, which is a story which is developing. In the next 1 week, we are going to see a lot of petitions. So, and the evidence, according to the people who are petitioning, one of them is Petauke Central is going to be petitioned. And guess who's likely to be a witness against the petition? Dora Silia. So in the next 2 weeks, there'll be a lot of petitions against PF, and I don't see PF surviving. I don't. I would love them to survive. We need an opposition. We need a strong opposition like what UPND was. UPND was a strong opposition for a long, long time. So PF might lose seats because of petition. Over to you, Frank. Before we bring in our people, just briefly, Frank, then we go around.
Yeah, okay. It was weak. The party was weak. It did not have leadership. Starting from the president, he was leading the country at the same time. There was no leadership in there whatsoever. They didn't think of who are the right people to have where. And just like Mr. Munch has said, they've taken the same people who broke the party to say, right, we want this party to be mended, so we're going to put you there. It's like you hire a builder. The builder house, it falls down, and you say, right, you built me a house, I want another house, here's more money, can you make sure you fix this? It doesn't make sense. It shows a kind of chaos. The one thing that you thought they have needed is, we need to change the strategy, and that it requires changing all the people to say, you are the people who are leading this, and it failed, and we need to change you. They can't do that, and it shows why they were not able to lead the country. And I'm with Mr. Munch on this one. I will be very surprised if in a year's time PF is a strong opposition, because for there to be a strong opposition, you need a party with strong leadership. You need a party with morals. You need the party with the heart of the country, with the mind thinking about the country at heart all the time. The Patriotic Front is weak. It's clueless. It's got no direction, and I think we're seeing the death of the Patriotic Front.
Jeremy,
General.
Briefly, then we go to our members, please.
No, General. If we are to even think about remotely who is likely to be president of the Patriotic Front?
And GBM.
General, we are in deep trouble there. Who is going to be the president of the Patriotic Front? So Nkandu Luo is out because Luo was one of the most unpopular. Everything that the Patriotic Front did in the run-up to this election was a disaster. I don't know. That's why Johnson Deputy General, we should cheese so more because this is not normal. They went and picked a very unpopular person to be the running mate. It completely destroyed the base of the Patriotic Front. It completely demoralized the ground forces of the Patriotic Front because she was one of the most unpopular MPs in the Patriotic Front. And yet, President Edgar Lungu decided to say that this is going to be my running mate. So now, if Edgar Lungu is out of sight there, who is going to lead the Patriotic Front? Maybe they might want to have a complete new person. Because as far as the Patriotic Front is concerned, there is no redemption. Who is going to be president? Mama Inonge Wina, we don't know whether she's actually vice president of the Patriotic Front. Can somebody confirm for us? If she is, I would advise them. They keep her for the next 1 year or so. And then they try to raise a new, and then they try to go to elections or something like that. Otherwise, they are in deep, deep trouble. But who cares? May the curse of Edgar Lungu never return to our country. Anyway, General, please. Okay, Naleka.
Jeremy, briefly, then we can go around. On the PF. We are on the PF, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Yeah. General, I saw the appointments and I was shocked that even after using Umuinawachi too much in the campaign with the tribal campaigns, has not made himself into the central committee. And just like Frank and Mushav said over the Patriotic Front, even me, I've not seen Patriotic Front actually staying united even by the end of this year, because these are the people who have shown to be like money mongers and very much selfish among themselves. So just giving them a tip of something, they are just going to disintegrate into individual aspirations. And for me, I'll not get shocked if themselves they cause even the by-election by resigning from PF and they joining the UPND. Already there are some rumors that Joe Marangi is thinking of resigning as a member of parliament. So there are all those kind of things that are happening. But I can assure you, PF will be more and worse completely in the archive of this country as compared to any other political party in this country. UPND showed the spirit of being united, and it had to stand for the past 20 years united as a team. And I can assure you, UPND will also be in governance for even more than 100 years, General.
No, not 100 years. That is a bad statement. Not 100 years. I would say 2 terms, and then Zambians can think. Let's not bring one party state. I don't believe in that. 2 terms of Mr. Eke, and then we get because this is the same mentality of PF, which we should not allow. Nobody is allowed to rule for 100 years. So now to our panel, we have 3 topics here. The topic of the inauguration and allowing people to go and attend. The second issue of the diplomacy and economic diplomacy meeting of the president. And the third one is the PF and their disintegration. So I'll give each person 2 minutes. You pick any of the 3 topics, but please be brief. I will start with Ruth. Over to you, Ruth. And after Ruth, I'll go to Shadrach, Wiseman, Nodebanda, Humphrey, and then Gladys. Ruth, over to you.
Hello, Uncle Norman, and hello, everyone on the panel and all our listeners. I just wanted to make a contribution on diplomacy. I think Uncle Norman, you would agree with me that from the Kaunda days, there is a system when it comes to diplomats. Diplomats who are appointed by the president usually ambassadors are political appointments, but the diplomats who go to serve as first secretaries, deputy ambassador, and all that, they come from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We do have NIPA. NIPA trains all the diplomats that we send abroad They go with a mission. But the problem is that when these other guys started coming in after Kaunda, they started bringing in family members and all cadres and all that. We have eroded out our diplomats who are trained to do the job, who know how to carry the message and represent our country properly. They are at foreign affairs. There are some people who can be ambassadors from foreign affairs who have been sidelined because of political affiliations, who have served in the government for over 30 years. They're there. Some of them have been victimized because some of their family members are UPND. They're at foreign affairs. So when a foreign affairs minister is appointed, let him go around and see who at foreign affairs qualifies for the job and who can do the job, best to represent our country. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, Ruth. You are very, very right. The diplomatic service, it should be run by professional diplomats. What I saw in 2011 when PF came into power, was in London, was shocking.
Yes.
We're seeing cadres, we're seeing relatives of Mr. Sata, the relatives of his wife, getting into the embassy, and that should stop. And I'm sure the incoming president and UPND will not allow that. Let's use the diplomats at the you have career diplomats who have been serving in the Foreign Affairs Ministry for a long time.
And one more thing, Uncle Norman, and then the other thing is that at the embassy, from the Kaunda days, there's a system that if a diplomat is sent, maybe, let me just say, to Zimbabwe, they go to Zimbabwe, they stay at that station for 3 years. They have to be reposted to go and serve somewhere else to carry on the message. Whatever they learned from the Zimbabwe, they take it maybe to Namibia. They go to maybe Djibouti, wherever, Nigeria. They have to go around. They can't stay in one place just because in South Africa, that's where the main deals are. That's where Tassila has trucks. We cannot have that. We cannot have that. That is where the problem is.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Let's go to Shadrach. Where are you, Shadrach? And remember the three topics and 2 minutes, please. Shadrach, over to you. Hello, Shadrach? No? Okay, let's go to Wiseman. Wiseman, 2 minutes and the three topics. You can choose any of the three, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I think good evening to all our people in our TV work too, and I think good evening to Comrade Musha as well. It was my pleasure to see on ZNBC TV, and it was very interesting to see how my comrade were articulating things on TV1, which was not an easy thing to be invited on that such kind of a platform. I was very happy to see you on that platform, and I was very happy to see how we were hitting those points. I think that is our platform, and I think we have to use it. Kudos to TV to produce such kind of a product. I think I was very happy with that.
Congratulations, Musha. I missed the ZNBC. We should keep that record, Musha. You have broken the record on behalf of TV Wakwe to go on the ZNBC. Well done. Go ahead, Wiseman.
Am I supposed to respond to that or no?
Go ahead, Musha.
Yeah, it was very interesting. You see, that is the issue of power, right? And all this. So the question really is, why should it be that a month ago I would not even draw closer to those studios? And then because perhaps the candidate we endorsed as one, suddenly all these facilities are open to us. All we want is fairness to every citizen of our country, pretty much. And I hope that ZNBC is going to be open to the Patriotic Front and other people in opposition. But I need to make it clear that even if I've done this, I don't belong to the ruling party. I'm not UPND. So I went there in my capacity as NDC, perhaps. Who knows? I have no idea. But anyway, thank you. Thank you, Wiseman. Please continue.
we know, Munsha, that you're NDC. Everybody knows that, and that's what democracy is all about. We have a lot of respect for
General Balalaba, because they think that because you and me run this show together, that we belong to the same political party.
No.
Balalaba. So I need to be reminded, even you, General, you forget because you think that, you co-opt me into all these things and tell me a lot of exciting things about you, PND. No.
Okay, Wiseman, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Thank you so much. Wiseman, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I like such kind of a response from my comrade Musha. Yeah, anyway. We don't even know your president anyway. You will let us know. Munyam Senge has joined you as well. Yeah. I think General, I think for me, I will pick the PF story because the issue of inauguration, I think we complained, and our president is a listening president. He has responded to the complaint which we did last night, and has allowed everyone to go and attend the inauguration, which is a good thing. For me, I won't comment much about that. The issue of the PF, I think, General, when you say, I think we need an opposition, a very strong opposition, PF will never be a strong opposition. Will never be that. That is a dream. PF, they are the people who are saying they have built Zambia into a London. So how would be that MP, not especially maybe from here, Kawe, how would Mr. Mushanga go in Parliament and ask Parliament to build him a tarmac, where he was previously saying that we have built roads? So such kind of an opposition, he will be beating on his face. So the PF will never be a strong opposition because for them, they had built Zambia and Zambia is London. So no complaint from the PF. And if you see when PF was built, General, PF was the party which was depending on the donation of the people. Just like the way you people from the diaspora, you have been donating money to assist Zambia for the COVID-19. That's how PF was built. People used to donate money for PF to run as a party. So now PF members, they are millionaires. Who's going to help who? Everyone want to hold on to my little change is remaining with it because he's scared anything can happen. So who's going to be funding the party? No one. So PF for me is dead. And if you see PF lost election, what next? It is to change the losing team. Why should you have a losing team? For example, you have got a losing team in a Barcelona. The name of a striker is Messi. Then you maintain the same Messi. You just change the name of Messi to Cristiano Ronaldo, and thinking that now Messi will be scoring because you have changed the name. Antonio Mwanza, it was the same Antonio Mwanza who failed the people of Zambia. Now he has been given another position, thinking that the name of Antonio Mwanza now has been washed away. You are lying to yourself. Vincent Tumale was the same. Given Luwinda was the same. Given Luwinda, who told us Bioten has gone through. Bioten has got a lot of good things. It's the same given Luwinda. So for them trying to shine with those positions, it won't help them, General. Those people, they are gone. Let's think about Amududu. Let's think about DP. Let's think about other except NDC. NDC will never exist again. I'm sorry about that. But that's the truth. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you so much, Wiseman. Thank you so much. We had a comment, Musha. One lady commented that it has gone again, that PF needed to restructure itself. It's gone. Let's go to Gladys. Sister Gladys, what do you think? 2 minutes, please. 3 topics. You can pick any of the 3, just briefly. Unmute yourself, Gladys, please.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening and good evening, viewers. I'll pick the topic. I don't know if it's still on the agenda of the Chinese, my best friends. Yeah. Just like just from where we left on yesterday. And I'm so grateful that Zambia has been liberated from the Chinese, because we were almost becoming a Republic of China. And I would urge that the current government in the nearest future, that they should put strict rules on the Bureau of Standards, because the Bureau of Standards in Zambia, they are actually very low when it comes to Zambia. I mean, when it comes to China importing, exporting goods into Zambia. For example, we find a place like Pape and many other shops. You find a cloth which has a cotton from the beginning to the end, which has just been bought, and that should not be acceptable. I know that we have in the first world countries, China is still delivering a lot of goods, and they are the main suppliers, but they follow the Bureau of Standard, and the Bureau of Standard are very strict. Why do they have to put Zambia like a dumping ground? So they should be a borderline that this time we should have somebody who will be working with the standards of goods, that they'll be strict on the rules and not accept just everything. Because if we accept everything, that's when we find even the Chinese will be putting plates on our head and eat on top of our heads. It should not be acceptable. So, and the other thing, quickly, on behalf of the Zambian citizen, I would really appreciate that it's nice that the president has allowed everybody to go and celebrate the inauguration. And I don't know how far it is gone. Yesterday, when I was looking at your maps, I like his music, but really it was very disappointing that he has no morals and ethics. And I should know that also the artists have they have ethics. That is very excited that he'll be playing music which is making for the president. We have a lot of artists who have been there in thick and thin. So I still believe that they should also be given an opportunity to be made a big name, instead of giving somebody who has not been there for the sake of money. So they should be given an opportunity to be known into public and hear their music, instead of somebody else coming to sing at the president's inauguration. I think they should not allow it.
Thank you, Gladys. We have got comments here before I come to Humphrey that PF Muyuda says PF is crumbling now because they didn't have any plan after losing. They thought they were just going to win, so they are crumbling now because of that. They had no plan. So a lot of our viewers here, Conrad says Mama Inonge was elected at the convention in April. She's still the vice president, Musha, and that is what we're being told. Let's get to Humphrey. Humphrey, 2 minutes. Any of the topics, please.
Good evening, wherever you are. Greetings.
And where are you, Humphrey?
I just want to. Now, I'm in the Copper Belt.
In the Copper Belt, thank you.
Yes, I came to organize a team for the inauguration, which I was very disappointed the few days ago to hear that unless people that are invited with the invitation, they are supposed to attend the inauguration, which I'm so proud to hear that the president has come in. I'm so grateful to our president. And once again, I just want to congratulate Mr. Munsha for the work that he's doing. Very happy to see you on ZNBC. I was following the program. And also very happy to see you yesterday on Diamond TV. Mr. Munsha, you are so inspiring to me. I always appreciate the good works that you do. You've made us to have the focus as a Zambian. And also I just want to congratulate General Norman for the work that you are doing. May the good Lord continue to bless the two of you.
Thank you.
What I can just say is over the PF, I'll just speak on the PF structure. It is so disappointing, and they have no vision. and looking again that they can come back in the less, it will be very difficult for them to come and compete. They have lost like that. The other part that I can say is as a party UPND, we need to focus so much when it comes for development. We need to develop our country because our country has gone through a lot. We need to hold our hands together so that we see our country move forward. And I just want to say that let's move ahead. Let's conquer this. We can't fail. We have gone through a lot, hardship. We can't fail when we come together as a nation. And I believe we are going to make it. Thank you so much. I just want to encourage each one of us to soldier on and to have a focus. Mr. Munsha, congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, Humphrey, and thank you so much for
Thank you, Humphrey.
Thank you so much, Humphrey, for your courage as well. You fought hard, you voted, and you did a good job. We did our part, our little part as well. Before we move on to
Yes, sir.
Ned Uganda, there are two comments here from Patricia Chimba, who says PF was a case. David Kaluba says PF needs to shut down first. Everyone disappears from the scene and then thereafter try to rebrand and come back after 10 years. So that's what they're saying. This is David Kaluba. You are very harsh, Kaluba. I'm sorry about that. Now let's go to Nedi Banda. Nedi Banda, what do you think? Nedi Banda? Hello, Nedi? No? If Nedi Banda, you're not ready, Nedi Banda, are you able to hear us, sir? No? Let's go to Chola. Chola. Unmute yourself, Chola. Mute yourself, Chola.
Yes, General.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
General.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Good evening, viewers. Good evening.
Okay, Mr. Nedi Banda, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Chola. Thank you. Go ahead, Chola.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, General. Well,
good evening, sir.
May I pick one topic?
Go ahead, please. Go
Hello?
ahead. Go ahead, sir.
General,
go ahead, sir.
As we were talking yesterday, I just want to thank you that today the president has agreed that we can all go and attend the inauguration on Tuesday. And as I told you that me, I'm very much ready to go and attend the inauguration. And some of the people here, they are all willing to go on Tuesday morning.
And here, by here, you mean? And here, by here, you mean? You mean where?
Oh, I'm in Choma, actually. Ndiku Choma wa Musha.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, please continue.
Yes, please continue. Yes, ndiku Choma. Once I've na Choma, actually, n'abapekanya barefu okuya ku inauguration. Leero nakiba mu Lusaka ba Musha nakiyapitako kulya kwine nakyekingako namwe nefira ekitika nati okukwena teekwa kushala tulefu ayikwa naifo tukayesefyako ngefya abanensuna bena balesefya bale ekiyemfya baleyonfwa bwino naifo tubalange kwati natumfwa bwino. It's not only that tuwaleba munafe balesefya, but this time we are all happy that we have won. And won yeshire ya chalo chonse te abantu bamubene yo ba UPND batonga bachani. Everyone is happy. So that's why we are going there. Thank you, Bamusha.
Thank you so much, Vachola. Thank you. Can we get back?
Thank you. Can we get back?
It looks like we've got a feedback. Can we all mute ourselves, please? There's a feedback from somewhere. Okay, thank you. Ned Banda, your comments are 2 minutes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Let me start by commending TV Bakwetu for this great work that they have been doing. I started listening to TV Bakwetu when, during the time of the Butane. I mean, Elias was so good. I mean, he broke down that document to us who don't even know what law is, but we're able to understand. And this is the reason why we're able to make informed decisions because of TV Bakwetu. So we really commend the job that you guys are doing. Let me move on now to the issue of inauguration. First of all, people must understand that HH is a man of the people, and everyone doesn't want to remain behind. They want to move together with HH. So this inauguration is such an instance that everyone wants to be part of what is going on in the country. Zambia is like it's a new country now, and everyone wants to come along on board on this new country that has just been born. So it's so nice that a decision has been made, of course, by the president himself to ensure that those who have the ability to go to the stadium on Tuesday can do so without any hindrance. Hats off to HH. Now, one thing I have seen about HH is that as a country, we expect to see a different dispensation of governance. This is a governance of transparency, a governance of inclusiveness, where every citizen will be aware of what is happening in the country. No one will be left behind. And I believe that it's important that every citizen is running along with the government for you to see progress, for you to see peace, and for you to see anything that is positive in any country. And HH is standing to do that for us. Now, talking about diplomacy, okay, this is also another area where we're seeing a different dimension, which is definitely positive. The president-elect has met different diplomats, has had chats with them. For me, I take it that these are feelers, He's trying to feel, to get to know what is really happening, at what level we are as a country, so that he can know where to pick it up from. Most importantly, I'm so happy to see that he has also taken time before he's even inaugurated to meet, to meet people who are in these strategic organizations like ZRA, the FIC, the ACC, the DEC. Those are very, very, very important tools of governance in Zambia. And for him to have met them before he can even get inaugurated, then we expect that the president is going to move or kickstart the movement of governance in this country on a basis of knowledge and understanding, which is definitely going to be a plus for all of us. Thank you so much. Continue doing a good job as TV Bakwetu. Of course, let me not forget also. I was also happy to see. By the way, I'm in Lusaka. I was happy to see Elias Munsha on Diamond TV yesterday. Okay. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Maybe when he entered the country from Canada, he was moving, in a special way. But now he's moving in a good way. You know what I mean? Because everything has changed. Everyone is now part of Zambia. Everyone feels to be part of Zambia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banda. And Musha is a star. He's appearing everywhere. So tomorrow I won't be surprised to hear that he's on Hot FM or somewhere. Now, let's try once more, Shedrick, before I give our Jeremy, Frank, and then Musha to summarize. Shedrick, can we try and see whether you can make your contribution, please? No? Unmute yourself, Shedrick. Before the elections, I would have said Shedrick is OP, but now I don't think I can say that. He might have a problem with his technology. Shedrick, unmute yourself. No? Okay. Let's go to Jeremy before Musha summarizes. What else have you got in your mind over the three topics as a summary, Jeremy?
General, first, there is also another developing story that we are hearing about Judge Ngoma, where he mentioned that there are some plans of assassinating President Hakainde on Monday, but we don't know how true that is, which we need to look up to. That's the statement Judge Ngoma today has made through ZT Daily Liberation News. I think we need to follow it up. Now, coming to the summary of everything, General, I think I agree with one of the comments which said that PF need to leave itself and come back after 10 years. Imagine Dr. Chitaru Chirufya in Parliament arguing about the shortages of drugs in the hospitals, where himself he was supplying with fake drugs to the members of the public. So imagine such kind of debate that is going to be there. Then in the Central Committee meeting which they had today, I was thinking like PF is going to fire the president and the SG, because these are the two people who made the party to lose these elections. But I'm surprised themselves have maintained themselves and they changed the positions for other people like Musuku and the kinds. But I was thinking like the main problem in PF was their president and their SG. These are the people who made PF to lose the elections with the spicing of Antonio Manza and the other people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank. Anything in your coming through your mind over the three topics?
I think the first thing that came into my mind is over the inauguration. I think when I'm looking at social media now, everybody's excited and everybody's talking about going to Lusaka for the inauguration. I think it's very good that people are free to go, but actually this might be a logistical nightmare of the number of people who are going to be making their way into Lusaka now. So for me, it's good that people can celebrate, but as long as there is logistics to be able to deal with people as they turn up to the stadium and the people that are going to be outside of the stadium. And my last thought is on the patriotic front. I think it showed something that we need more than most in our country. It's leadership. In everything, before we elect any president in the future, the one thing that we have to look at is the leadership that they have, the people that they surround themselves. At the moment, they've got a losing team. They're left with a losing team. Their campaign strategy was terrible. They have not changed that. They've got the exact same people. So for me, it's about looking at what sort of leaders do we need? What are they doing right now? With HH, you felt confident. I think a lot of young people, we felt confident we're going to have a new leader because everything that they were going to do was explained and it made so much sense. And for us as young people, as we go forward, as the people of Zambia, we have to always look at this. Who is making more sense? And which we always go for sense all the time. Yeah, so that is my thought. But my worry is still on logistic on the inaugurations. If you get 1 million people in Lusaka, don't know what they're going to do with that.
Thank you so much, Frank. I think my appeal that all the people, I know people traveling from Eastern Province, I know people traveling from Mongo, Northern Province, will end up having 1 million or 2 million more than the population in Lusaka. Let's be sensible. Carry your masks with you, carry enough water, and carry enough food. My biggest worry would be, is that stadium, does it have enough toilet facilities, for instance? Will they put in extra toilet facilities? Because then we'll have a mess. My appeal through Akweto TV, carry your water, carry masks, carry enough food, so that in case the whole thing will take a long time, I haven't looked at the program, you need to be secure. Because the biggest problem with Lusaka is toilets. To be very honest with you, it's toilets. I know my country very well. So the issue of toilets. So let's appeal to all our members between now. Take your masks, take your food, and take enough water, and make sure that you carry your hand sanitizers as well. Musha, I would like you to do something we've never done before. Go through some of the comments and summarize our three topics, please. Over to you.
All right, thank you. Are we closing now, General?
Musha, I have said we want to stick to 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we are 1 hour and exactly 30 minutes. So I want to stick to that. Yeah.
All right. Oh, thank you. Because General, we can go until 4 hours. The way I know you, right? So with 1 hour 30 minutes, that's very good self-restraint, and I commend you for that. Keep it up. Or it's because you are in transit. You see what happens. It's because you are no longer in the comfort of your Scotland. Anyway, thank you for that. I'm going to read a few comments here. I'm going to just, yeah, there are a lot, but I'm just going to pick and choose. I'll just go by random. Gladys, okay, so I think XT True Kid Yo is chatting with someone else there. Invite Kevman Zambia to play at HH Inauguration. Okay. I think the UPND is watching that. Mr. Munsha, you are one of the few who have liberated us. Thanks, Alex. Luvinda one time appeared on ZNBC and told Grivazo that he will be back on the same channel and tell him that by UPND Banyala. You know, it's always fun. I'm getting a lot of fun just thinking about Given Luvinda because he's one of the most arrogant politicians Zambia has ever had. Anyway, too bad. Wanyala. Given Luvinda Wanyala.
Munsha, sorry to disturb you. Given Luvinda is supposed to be my traditional cousin, so I think I will tell him off on your behalf. But Luvinda Shah, you are one of the most arrogant politicians I've ever heard of. Ever confronted in Zambia. The MMD were at a lot of respect. They were very respectful. Walubinda, if I had my way, I would give you the medal of being the worst legal minister. Secondly, the worst politician of PF, because he was arrogant, Moshe. He was very, very arrogant. So I think I will spare you the trouble, Musha. I will tell him myself because he's supposed to be lousy. And coming from me, I think it will be more effective. Walubinda, you are the most useless legal affairs minister as far as I'm concerned. Over to you, Musha.
Okay, thank you, General, for coming to my rescue. Mwamene vakambira wa commander. Anyway, tamumfa bwino ngandera ndesi nyanja. Nshaishwefe mwampatira. I speak a little bit of nyanja mwampata. You know, this is terrible. I'll go and complain somewhere. Gladys, I think the Unity Band is the first choice and the one who sang Civil Servants Mwali Folae. Okay, I think there is a conversation going on there. Kafula is answering Vanachiuta Kids. Vanachiuta Kids, my sister, is still your Secretary General. I think Vanachiuta Kids was saying that we need to start afresh by disbanding the Secretary General. This is not the problem with the Secretary General. This is what PF people do not understand. This is a problem with Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu is a very damaged brand. You don't understand. Even if you remove the SG Mwila, you still are going to have Edgar Lungu, and is a damaged, completely damaged brand, unfortunately, because the brand of Edgar Lungu is associated with what? Tribalism, corruption, fire trucks, fire tenders, all these confusions. It's completely damaged. In any case, if you are able to send stars, please do so, because we can't just be talking without you sending stars. Anyway, must will be a must, and the good thing, the numbers are very low and it's been warm in Zambia. Okay, that makes sense. Funny that PF retired their older VIP and chose another older running mate. Old, yeah, it was pretty old. That's one of the things. What was happening with the Patriotic Front and their planning? You know, it will take us a long time to just analyze whatever happened there. Okay, I think we've got to end there with our comments. General, we've got to end here with our program because we've passed 3 minutes past our 1 hour 30 minutes, and so we are going to see each other tomorrow. And from all of us here at TV Bakwetu, it's good night to everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, and good night.
Good night. God bless you. God bless our country.
God bless you. God bless our country.
Vamusha and General, can you stay behind? I have a comment.
General, can you stay behind? I have a comment.
Okay.
Musha, can you facilitate that we stay behind, please?
Yes, we're going to stay behind. Please don't go away. We're going to stay behind for an in-camera discussion. God bless you and good night.